not working.
There you go.
Are we?
Are we live yet?
Let's do the banner. I've messed the banner. Hey, let's try again. Go.
Good evening, NFL fans. It is the 7th of November. Completely forgot what the date was then. 2022. And this is the recap weekend for the third and long podcast. I am joined by the Welsh wizard himself, Shane Harris. How are you, my friend?
Not bad, but not bad. How's things?
I'm absolutely over the moon. And of course, always, bottom of the screen this week, we have the New England, I want to say Patriot, but that's two against the grain. The New England Maverick. Ollie, how are you, my friend?
Always good, mate. It's always good on a Monday when your team wins.
Do you know what? My whole mood on a Monday morning is basically around how Newcastle United do and how the 49ers do. So because Newcastle United thumped the Saints of Southampton this weekend and the 49ers being on a bye week, and I'm actually this week rocking a throwback Vikings jersey because I just have a jersey for nearly all teams in the NFL. I'm feeling really good. So before we get into the actual results of Thursday's game and yesterday and last night's game, shall we talk about the big news?
Let's do it.
It's something that I didn't think was actually going to happen now. I would have thought that the Indianapolis Colts would have waited until the end of the season. But in case you don't know already, the Indianapolis Colts have fired head coach Frank Wright after a 3-5-1 start to their season. He's being replaced by the man who's best known for just giving Peyton Manning the ball, Jeff Saturday. And in something that's really, really blown my mind, he's coming from outside the organization to take over. I find that a little bit suspect. What do you think, gentlemen?
I like it. Fresh pair of eyes. Personally, fresh pair of eyes. There's no issue with that at all. Unless you're Ralph, who came into United. Don't ask me to say his surname because I can never say his surname.
Ralph.
It works having fresh pair of eyes on it.
I want to say Ralph Ragnarok, but it wasn't.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Rangnick. Sounds
like another man in sports who fell upwards his entire career.
Yeah, exactly. I will say before we carry on, Mr. Hope is normally with us, but unfortunately he is on his sickbed with the wonderful COVID. We do wish you all the best of luck, and he will be back with us when he is at full health, hopefully.
Thoughts and prayers, Ollie.
Get well soon, dude. Yep. Get well soon.
Rest up, baby Hope.
Baby Hope. He's going to hate me for that.
He is the bubba. He is the bubba of the family. Yeah. Yes, David. Boys! As he's posted on the chat. We'll just get up for... I know you dropped out for a wee second, Shane. Just thoughts on Jeff Saturday. Fresh pair of eyes or completely... It's a bit of a... I don't know, like a car crash into the side, because the Colts are 3-5-1. They're not doing great, but they're not doing horrendously bad. Right decision to sack him now, or wrong?
I think they noticed that there was, especially after yesterday's dismal performance, with the fact that Matt Ryan isn't playing as good as he should be. I think they've done it now. They've sort of put a bandage on the wound. I mean, I don't think Jeff Saturday is the right appointment, unless they want to sort of just have someone in place for now, bin the rest of the stuff. I know it's a little early. Bin the rest of the season off and then rebuild. Then come next season. But as I said before we came on air, Jeff Saturday was plucked from a high school coaching job to basically coach an NFL franchise. That reminds me of, like, back to soccer again. Back to when Ollie Solskjaer took charge of United. He's a legend of the franchise team.
Do you know what I was going to suggest? I was actually going to suggest when Man United fans say give it to Giggsy till the end of the year. That's what it sounds like to me. It's like Jeff Saturday. It's not quite Peyton Manning, but he's probably the second next legend that we could probably get.
Yeah,
And
I mean, Peyton's busy on a Monday night.
Manningcast is so good, but that's a conversation for a different show because he's competing directly against ours on a Monday as well. The third and long cast against the Manningcast. I wonder who America's going to tune into.
I mean, since Fight Rank's been in charge, his quarterback's a beam. Andrew Luck, who retired in 2018.
Did he retire as soon as he took over? Because I know
no, he had a season. Frank Wright had a season.
Did he have one
Frank
season
Wright's
with him?
been in charge
Okay.
for 5 years. So you've had Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Rivers, Carson Wentz, and this year obviously Matt Ryan and Sam Ellinger. His record is a 40-33-1. Not brilliant. And a postseason record of 1-2. And so I completely forgot they won a playoff game until I was like over that going, they won a playoff game? When did they win a playoff game? They're not that far back from Tennessee. They're only a game and a half back from Tennessee. They've got one of the easier schedules. Hello, Mr. Hope, who has popped up. I hope you're getting well soon. And our former host has jumped on. Hello, Mr.
Tommy
Tom.
Shaw.
How are you doing, mate?
You, Tom.
And Mr. Hope has said he did put Frank Wright at the top of his hot seat list at the beginning of the off season when we were going the 5 most likely to get sacked.
Yeah.
I did actually say to Kelly last night he would be lucky if he lost to the end of the season. I wasn't expecting the next day, and I did actually say on Sunday when I was watching Newcastle that saying the Southampton manager is probably going to get sacked tomorrow. Who do I want to get sacked next? I seem to have a new power.
Just Newcastle United just have this habit at the moment of absolutely battering teams, and then not long after, head coaches get sacked. So,
Tom, I have seen your comment. I'll bring it on when we talk to the Vikings because I think that's a bit poignant about that time then. Shall we go on to...
I don't know if Tom is watching live, but I can talk about the Vikings as long as the 49ers aren't there.
Shall we go on to Thursday Night Football, who is probably going to be the NFC champion, the NFC champions at the moment?
Nailed on, that is. Nailed on.
I mean...
The NFC
brilliant.
champions?
Yes.
Yeah, Eagles. It was an odd game because I think the scoreline was mildly flattering because it was fairly even up until the midpoint in the third quarter because the Texans didn't look like a 1-6-1 team. And the Eagles didn't look like an unstoppable force either. So I thought it was very, very lopsided, but then just midpoint in the third quarter, I mean, they just completely took over. And then by the fourth quarter, when they scored, when they got the 2-point, when they got the extra point, instead of kicking for a field goal, the Texans were way out of sight by that point.
Yeah,
it was surprising with the Texans because I thought that they would be like basically walked over, but in the whole game. They only had 57 less yards of total offense than the Eagles.
I mean, Damian Pierce rushed for 4 yards less than the entire Eagles rushing.
Yeah, I've got Pierce down as my
superstar.
Yeah, I've got Pierce down as my rookie of the year as well. I mean, it's a shame that he plays for such a poor team. And yeah, he's standing out. He's standing out. We haven't really talked much about him this year, but I felt Mills went under the radar quite well last year, and he doesn't get talked about in terms of rookies that get drafted last year. Because when we talk about the rookies that got drafted, we talk about like Lawrence and Fields and Wilson. Mills got drafted the same time, but he doesn't get brought up in the same conversation.
See, Mills is a good quarterback. Okay, his one interception was dire. It's like he was getting sacked instead of just like going that way out of ground. He threw it straight down the middle of the numbers.
Yeah, I mean
that is dangerous no matter what.
He's making rookie mistakes on a bad team. That's. I mean, it's the same with. Does he look better or worse than someone like Trevor Lawrence, who was supposed to be the elite of this class?
I would put them in the same category.
Sorry, what one?
I would put them in the same category.
Okay, because I still think we haven't seen the best yet of either of them. I think Trevor Lawrence will take a couple more years to develop, and he will, whether or not it's in Jacksonville or beyond. But I think Mills is going to be with the Texans for quite some time. They seem quite dead set on keeping him and, working through. So Tom's just gone, Mills is unlucky that he went to the Texans. Yeah, but then we could say the same thing to Trevor Lawrence or Wilson or who else got Fields. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks where you go, what if? But unfortunately, the worst teams seem to continuously draft the worst players, also the best players, and then because of that losers mentality, which I talked about the other night, the team just suffers because of it. That's the reason why the Jaguars are always at the bottom of the pile or the first up when it comes to drafting, because they're just a badly run organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking. I mean, they've got an absolute stud in Dameon Pierce. Such a good. I mean, Stinglety is meant to be one of the best DBs come out of this class. He was picked. Was he picked higher than Sauce? I'm sure he was.
Well, yeah. Was he picked top 10?
Yeah, and Sauce went 4, didn't I? I can't remember if Stingley was before or after. But they are building some good players in there. It's just there's a lot of old habits in that franchise.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing as well that the Texans have that not necessarily say the Colts or the Jaguars have is letting go of JJ Watt and trading a king's ransom for Deshaun Watson. They have a lot of cap space as well as draft capital coming up.
I think you were right, Tom. I think he was third and Sauce was fourth, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they are in a good position, but I think they need a McVay tree or Shanahan tree coach who's got fresh ideas, not Santa. God, love it. He is, isn't he, with that beard?
Yeah, I mean, I do suspect that Lovey will not be the head coach of the Houston Texans next year. It could be someone like DeMarco Ryans, like you said, that Shanahan coaching tree.
Yeah.
Because he keeps getting picked for it anyway. So anything else onto that particular game?
I think, like I said, we all expected the Eagles to win, and they did. They're now 8-0, and as I've said previously on the podcast, they do have a winnable rest of the season. I think there's none of the games that left should trouble them that much. They could go into the playoffs undefeated, which, well, saying that, like how much do you look into that when you've got things like the Steelers that season they went undefeated into the playoffs and then got bounced by the Browns? Do you know what I
mean? Let us not forget about the New England Patriots going undefeated and coming across a certain man from New York who put that to rest.
Talk about that one? Was it 17-1? Is this pick on the bloody Patriot fan today?
It is not, because we're going to praise the Patriots a little bit later on in this game on 2 reasons as well. One for the actual team and the other for a particular legacy and milestone that a certain player has accomplished last night.
Oh, yes.
So, in terms of our Sunday night games, which one shall we talk about first?
Let's go to Atlanta.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
So who wants to take it around? I thought this game was a lot more close than I thought it probably should have been. But does anyone want to talk a little bit more in detail about that one?
Yeah, my other laptop's making noise. That Eckler play. There's 2 plays involving Eckler. The one where it was everyone thought it was a really good play, and everyone stopped off, and he ran it through to the end zone. He rolled over, and literally his elbow must have grazed the turf. Yeah. And he was obviously marked down because he was held by the player and all that, blah, blah, and he ran it in. Everyone stopped. It was a really good play from Eckler. He was just really unlucky. He just didn't get the arm hold enough because he kept his body up. He kept everything up. It was a really good play. Almost Edelman-esque in that Super Bowl against Atlanta. And then there was a really strange sequence where Eckler fumbled.
Yeah.
Received by the defensive lineman, and then the defensive lineman ran 30 yards and then fumbled out of bounds. It's strange. And Cardell Patterson, you cost me 20 points because I still had him on my bench because I didn't think he could play that much. And
he's good. I told you before. Don't sleep on him. He's good.
I kept him. I picked him late. I think I picked him in my free agency last year, and I kept him as a keeper for my fantasy teams in one of my keeper leagues, and I kept him, scoring absolutely shed loads, then gets injured, and I thought, well, I'm not going to play him that much because Algier and Huntley are fairly good running backs. They're doing a good enough job for them. Yeah, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, and a hatful on the ground as well. So yeah, they don't pass. They don't do a lot of yards. I mean, there was 329 yards and 330 yards in total, and Los Angeles Rams were only like 100 yards more. It wasn't a massively exciting game. It was just those two moments by the same person, and the fact that Cordell Patterson was back flying, which was the exciting bit, I think, more than anything else.
I was going to say, did you see Patterson's second touchdown where he literally run the defensive lineman over? And when I say run him over, he literally put him into the shadow zone. Do you know what I mean?
Are we going to see that on the Carl Brandt angry run tomorrow?
Like I said, he ended him, and there was no way he was being stopped, and he basically plowed through him.
Yeah, I mean, that was another really good run by a certain quarterback last night, or this morning, whichever time in the world you're looking at it, which was really good. There wasn't a lot about this. I mean, there was only one major talking point, and that was two major talking points, and that was really it. There was nothing else on that one. LA Chargers just don't look like a team that they should be. No. Which is, they got star players. You got Herbert, you got Eckler, you've got some really good receivers in Carter, Everett. What's his name? Keenan Allen, who's obviously out at the moment. They just don't seem to be doing anything.
No, I think they do miss Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who's also on the shelf as well.
Of course, I think they've got Mike Williams on IR, isn't he?
Missed them a lot, yeah. It speaks to any team when their big stars go down. How are you going to cope? Who's going to step up and basically fill the void that's left by those players? And teams like the Chargers, who don't have that much strength in depth, then shall we say, are going to struggle.
I mean, they've got a really good O-line. They've got a solid, brilliant O-line. It gives Herbert that time, but Herbert's still making silly mistakes.
Yeah,
he hasn't developed as much as someone else has, but yeah.
In terms of, because they got drafted the same year, like Herbert and Burrow, and I think Burrow is better, and I think he has less around him, if that makes sense.
Should we go on to Cincinnati as we've segued to it?
Well, this game was over. This game was over by halftime. Like when you're 35-0 up at halftime.
42. They were 42 up at halftime.
Were they 42?
Yeah, no, they weren't 35. They were 42 up before. Yeah, that's it. I remember now. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, because I remember watching it on Red Zone, and it was like 35-0 at half time, and I think they made some defensive adjustments where a lot of their defense sat out, and you can kind of tell because in the fourth quarter, Carolina scored 14 unanswered points.
They did.
That meant nothing anyway. Wow. Who were more impressed by, Burrow or Mixon?
Oh, Mixon. Five
Unreal.
211 yards. Just total scrimmage. I mean, Ollie's already called him his player of the week. He's probably going to be player of the month of those, right? He was superb. He was literally one of those things where you are literally unplayable. Yeah. There's not many games where you have a player who is unplayable, and he was unplayable.
That's the kind of thing that you would do. That's the kind of thing you would do on Madden if the difficulty was on the lowest difficulty possible. Do you know what I mean? Go 5 touchdowns. And what else I would say as well, which we said before the broadcast, woe betide the person that was playing against him in fantasy this week.
Yes, I had him in one of my teams. I was.
Now, in terms of Cincy, are they a threat in the AFC? I mean, they are They are current AFC reigning champions. But when we look at like the grand scheme of things, in terms of the Bills looking dominant, the Chiefs looking dominant, the Jets are playing really well. Certain other teams in the AFC are kind of like turning the course, but Cincinnati are like the little engine that could. And they've got a strong quarterback, a really, really good quarterback. They've got Mixon, who had an obscene couple of last games. I mean, also they've got Higgins as well. They have like a very strong three-pronged attack. So are they an
Yeah,
early
I mean they've got
threat?
Boyd, Higgins, Chase,
Yeah.
Hurst as well. The thing is with Cincinnati, they are very inconsistent. Proof encased, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Should have absolutely wiped the floor with Cleveland. Yeah, there you go. Exactly what I just said. Exactly the same. Needs some consistency. Different team on that. Turned up last night. As Kelly
I
just
do
said.
feel, yeah, I do feel a little bit bad about Baker because Baker didn't have a horrible game.
Well, it couldn't get any worse, could it?
Baker 14 for 20, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, quarterback rating of 126.0. He played he played better than PJ Walker, who threw 2 interceptions and only threw
Off
for
9
nine
balls.
yards.
10 yards, yeah. 10 balls, yeah. It's ridiculous.
So
They stopped that very good Carolina run offense.
yeah.
Because ever since a certain person's ended up at a certain red and gold,
Yes.
their run offense has got so much better.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we don't know what to do.
I mean, I think that trade's helped. I mean, it's helped the 49ers, and I think it's also helped Carolina because when you trade away your
I just wanna
major
say,
weapon, it
John, she
makes
wrote
sure.
mine.
Sorry.
I just want to say, John, she wrote mine.
That's bold of
When
you
you
to
trade
say.
away your major weapon, it forces you to be more diverse.
Yeah,
And the Panthers have had to, I mean, for the last, how long, 4 years, relied solely on McCaffrey to do everything for them. As soon as Cam stopped being Cam, they had to rely on someone else to drag that dead carcass of a team over. And it's helped them, it's helped them to play the ball more, get the ball around the field, not rely on just one running back. So
I think
they're probably going to finish the season with a losing record, but I think the
yeah. I mean, they're
Panthers will
2-7.
rebuild. Yeah.
their offense was in the shadow of McCaffrey for so long. And now the
Mhm.
fact that he's gone, I think the likes of Foreman and Brown and Blackshear are sort of relishing the opportunity and taking it with both hands now, you know?
Yeah, completely.
Couldn't agree more. Could
Completely.
not agree more.
Game of the night. Well, I'm calling it game of the night because it was a brilliant game, and that is Miami, Chicago.
Oh, yes.
I think Justin Fields has made the biggest jump of any second-year player going this year. He has been superb these last
He
week.
played so
These
well
last few
yesterday,
weeks.
so well.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
he
finding
rushed.
himself. Yeah.
He rushed for 178 yards, including a 61-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Against us, he was superb. Miami Dolphins, he was superb. If it wasn't for a certain number 10 doing backflips and cartwheels into the end zone, Miami could have won that. Miami could have lost that. And I was hoping they did because it would have made us very interesting. What's your take on it, Mr. Phil?
I was, at the beginning of the season, I was disgusted that the 49ers lost to that particular Bears team, and they didn't really do much to convince me in the
I
preceding
remember
weeks.
Yep.
There's holes in Miami, and there's since two are going down and two are coming back, there's just something amiss with Miami, call me silly, call me daft, but I think the 6-3 since two are going down has it's made them look a little bit better than they actually are. And I thought that even though the Bears lost, the Bears came out of it looking better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Tyreek Hill was absolutely insane in that game. And Waddle is absolutely insane in that game. And Sherfield was pretty good. And Mostert was pretty good. And Jeff Wilson Jr. was really, really good. It
Shall we
just
say
felt
what
like
a certain Mr. Hope said about Jeff Wilson
Tell
and Raheem Mostert? That he thinks Jeff Wilson will be RB1 in Miami ahead of Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know the reason why I think that is because Mostert was already at the back of McDaniels' mind and Shanahan's mind last year because of his injuries. Now I know he went to Miami because that's who Mike McDaniels wanted to take, but he also specifically asked for Jeff Wilson Jr., who's considerably younger, has better injury record than Mr. Mostert, because don't forget, before Shanahan resurrected his career, he was dead in the water. Like, he was already written off. And I think it's only been his performances in the red and gold that's kind of upped his value. I'm not saying he's not a good running back. I just think, yeah, I agree with Ollie on that point. I think he will be starting as RB1 before the end of the season, well into the post.
Yeah, he did look good. I mean, what I say, most I've seen is Justin Fields running, because that's pretty much what, Chicago's offense was yesterday. I mean, but they rushed for 152 yards. As I said, Justin Fields was 178 yards. He's broken the record set by Michael Vick from 20 years ago as a rushing quarterback. There was shades of Mahomes in him yesterday. There was shades of Josh Allen in him yesterday. Justin Fields had a massive step these last 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't
of, and I hate saying it, shades of even Russell. Did you say Russell Wilson?
No.
But in just terms of like how good he is at scrambling and getting out of the pocket.
Yeah.
Like, there was one particular play where the pocket broke down and he like zigged in and out to get out of the pocket and then down the field. I mean, he's not a particularly tall quarterback anyway. I want to say he's a little bit taller than Kyler Murray. So him looking over the lineman that's in front of him and him being quick enough to read. Yeah, Bears fans, if you're listening, 6'3" really?
Yeah.
He's taller than me. Well, I'm 6'2". That surprised me, because on the telly he doesn't look particularly tall.
No.
But Bears fans, if you're listening, this is your quarterback for the next 10 years.
Undoubtedly.
100%.
Unlike
you mentioning you're mentioning scrambling quarterbacks. You've obviously forgotten about the best scrambling quarterback in this
Steve
league.
Young. Obviously, yeah, absolutely, Steve Young.
Oh, don't. He was mentioned on the Chiefs game last night.
I can't hear you, Shano. Who are you talking about? Colin Kaepernick?
We'll see tonight.
Isn't he that running back who pretends to play quarterback?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I remember when he used to wear 21 before they let players wear whatever they want, and now he wears 8. Sorry. When we think about quarterbacks that wear the number 8. Yeah, when we think about quarterbacks that wear the number 8, I go Steve Young, Kirk Cousins. Who else wore number 8? Someone else, and then Flacco wore number 5. I can't think of anyone else of relevance that wore number 8.
No, I can't either, actually. Shall we go on to a number 12, who pretty much looks shocked? And I'm not on about the one in Tampa.
Oh, yes.
We'll get to the Tampa one in a bit.
All right. So before we go, I just want this has been absolutely perfect for the last couple of years with Tom Brady being the NFC. For anyone that still died on the hill of Aaron Rodgers being better than Tom Brady, shame on you. Genuinely shame on you.
Oh, completely.
Aaron Rodgers in this season has been the best spokesman for anti-drugs and why you shouldn't take recreational drugs. Like, honestly, watching him on the Pat McCaffrey show, watching him anytime he does an interview, watching him on the sidelines when he's having a massive meltdown. Kids, if you're listening at home and want to try recreational drugs, just look at how Aaron Rodgers' MVP career has gone in the space of 6 months. Because he is done. Like, he is done. Flush the toilet. Get rid of Aaron. Like, honestly, Packers fans, this is like watching Brett Favre again at the end of his career. But Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go to Minnesota. He's not going to go to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is done.
Yep. I mean, Kelly did call it.
Who's going to replace him?
Jordan Love, why not? That's why they drafted him.
Yeah. In the second round. I mean, as Tom said, that $50 million contract looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He made, as he said, I presume that's meant to say he made Adams leave. I thought
Adams hasn't really benefited from that trade either, so I think it's been a lose-lose situation for the 3 teams
Kelly
involved.
did call it Sunday morning, and her daughter was very happy. I'm guessing I didn't.
Well done, Kelly.
He said on the I'm sure it was a Pat McCaffrey show that one of his interceptions was he threw it 6 yards too short. And I can't remember which one it is. The one in the end zone, it was 6 yards too forward. It was picked off. It's like, the guy was in double coverage anyway, so why the hell are you doing it?
I mean, Aiden Hutchinson for like that interception in the red zone, he read him like a book. Like it was like watching the little engine that, like he was reading the little engine because that's how easy that play was.
That's a rookie. That's a rookie as well. So I mean, it goes to show how much a good player Aiden Hutchinson is.
Shall we flip that around though? That's a 19-year veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Super Bowl multiple MVP first ballot Hall of Famer.
He should know better.
Yeah. I mean, Phil will know that. Even at the level we played, you always played not to play across your body like that, which is what he did. I mean, then there's another play where he went to Sammy Watkins, and he
was it the last play of the game? Yeah,
it was near the end. He blatantly threw into that corner of the end zone, knowing that Sammy Watkins was going that way.
Yeah, I mean, because I watched it. Oh, I watched. Oh God. Sorry, because I've got the stats up. I thought that was you talking through the microphone. Then, I watched that play multiple times because I think it was either the last play or like 3rd and 10 or 4. It was towards the end.
Yeah.
And the commentators were saying, it's almost like Sammy Watkins did his own audible and didn't run the route. But I'm going, he didn't like go left and then in. He literally, with every intent, went to cut it in. He at no point during his movement, or even when he was lining up, did he even read like he was going to go to the post.
His hips were always open to come inside.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, Ollie, you would know because like you played DB as well. You can kind of get a sense from the line of scrimmage where this is going. Yes, you get like really, really fast players that can like shake and bake and go one direction, but watching it, he's always cutting inside to midfield. So when Aaron throws it to the court, like to the post, and it's nowhere, then he has a fit on the sideline. I'm going. And the commentators are defending. This is the thing that really bothers me when they're defending these players, going, "Oh, Sammy Watkins obviously made the wrong route, or he's changed his on the wall." I'm going, "No, Sammy knew what he was doing. Like Sammy's running 15 yards and expecting Aaron Rodgers to hit him in the chest area. Never happening." And Sammy's own reaction to that as well was very telling. It was because he threw his hands up in the air, then he does that motion where he's like, "What are you doing?" But to use the term, he's 3 interceptions. Threw the game away.
One of them was off a defender's helmet, so I will give him a little bit of leeway of that one, only a little bit. But Aaron Rodgers is known for making plays, for extending plays, scrambling around, jumping around in the pocket, making plays. I haven't seen that this year at all.
No, I mean, he's done. He's genuinely done.
Give us, Phil. Shane. Give us a Detroit perspective because we've got to give us Detroit some credit.
I was going to say, take nothing away from the Lions' performance. They played really well. Jared Goff, 14 for 26, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And considering, the Green Bay strength is their defense because their offense is, as I've said previously, the fact that we got threadbare wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers is in very much Cristiano Ronaldo form right now. Trying to hang on, very much Ric Flair form, trying to hang on to as much as you can for the rest of your career when you're done.
Like you're hanging on to the
remote. Hey, don't throw Ric Flair under the bus. I mean, he won more championships than Aaron Rodgers, okay? You can't compare the 16-time world champion to one-time Super Bowl winning champion Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Talk about woo.
Woo. I mean, to be the man, you've got to beat the man and not get beaten by the man multiple times like Aaron Rodgers has.
Is Green Bay again?
Hang on. Kelly just said Lions looked okay, but was it the Packers were more poor?
I want to say yes. 6-1. Yes.
Yeah. But we can't take away the Lions.
The Lions defended well, but I think their secondary was their strength yesterday because Aaron was just throwing, like he was just yeeting it and was just like every time YOLO, like every ball Hail Mary, like it was playing like it was the last play in the fourth quarter. So I think it was poor play by Aaron Rodgers, but the Lions knew how to defend against that passing play, and that's.
I will talk about a quarterback throwing it to DBs in a couple of games' time, but let's go to Jacksonville, who actually won a game for the first time in about 3 games, I think. 3 or 4 games. This was a case of sorry, John, if you are watching, this was a case of 2 poor teams and who had a less of a poor game.
Yeah, this was Tank Bowl week. Tank Bowl week 9. This is. I mean, the Jags were better. Just that's all I'm going to say on this. They were better. Just.
John, I'm saying nothing.
What's he put? Okay.
I'm saying nothing.
Boys, fair play to the Jags. 403 yards of total offense. Travis Etienne, 2 scores as well. He is proving that last year was very unfortunate, the fact that he was injured for all of it. He is showing what he's capable of in this league on a very poor team.
Yeah.
He is running Barkley and the King very, very, very close for comeback player. Very close. He's going to be one of those 3 who's going to win comeback player of the year.
Even Christian Cooper's earning his money yesterday as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Adams had his best game in the gold, silver and black and silver, silver and black, whichever way it
Silver
is.
and black attack.
You know, he looked very good, but there was plays. I mean, I saw what I saw on Red Zone when I was looking from the telly down to the laptop. It's like, what the hell is Derek Carr doing? Yeah. I mean, John, what is your opinion on Derek Carr after yesterday's? You know, he just looks not like a player he was even last year at times. What's your thinking of it, Shane?
It's like I said, I have high hopes for this Raiders team this year with the addition of Devontae Adams and the fact that I've already got Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs. I thought they'd do really well. It's got to be down to the coaching. That's all I can think of. I think Josh McDaniels is not a good coach. I'll say it. You know,
he's
I don't
not
think
a head
he is.
coach. He's not. He's.
Yeah,
it's all right for us sitting here on the Monday night. It's all right, like as podcasters and armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't need a 20-year coaching history to know that Josh McDaniels is not head coach material.
No.
Great OC in the right scheme, great OC in the right program, but they are really bad. And you know, it's a good job, Shane. It's a good job that the Raiders don't retire jerseys because number 8 is up for grabs next year. Just in case you're wondering.
That's not even funny, but don't even joke. Don't even joke about something like that.
Okay, so John said that Bengals. You said we talked about earlier. Bengals not losing 35-0 lead. He says Raiders absolutely could.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah,
Kelly has gone. Sorry, Travis Etienne won't win comeback because he's a Jag.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a very good shout.
I'm going to look at Travis Etienne's stats very quickly over for the year. He is 5th in rushing yards. He is 10th on average yards per carry, and he's 14th on total touchdowns. Not brilliant, but it's not bad. Oh yeah, Mariota was 8.
I'm sure he wouldn't be there in the trade.
Surely there is only one number 1 pick the Jags can screw over. As Tom said.
That's a good one, mate.
I'm guessing, Shano, that's one of your friends.
No. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is.
I just wanted to check that one.
Right, I have to go in back, all right?
Can I talk now? Can I? Can I? Can I? Is it my team now?
Just before we move on to away from the Raiders, I said at the beginning of the show, I'm generally surprised McDaniels still has a job, but at the same time, the Davises do have a history of giving their coaches time. So he'll either get sacked on Black Monday, like the NFL Black Monday, or he will be given
proper Black Monday.
one more year.
I think he'll be given one more year to have his stamp on things. Yeah. You know, to have all his. Cheers, Tom. That's my little Tom Pat's heart. I have worn today my Jude jersey because that guy yesterday was unplayable. Oh, I'm gonna forget the first half because it was 3 and out.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And defensive player of the year is Matt Judon. And at this rate, Ollie's going to owe me some money. Matt Judon's stats yesterday was 6 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits. Yeah. He is unplayable yesterday. I mean, our special teams, there was a block field goal. The block punt went into another team. Interception as well. He was unplayable yesterday. you could see the way Frank. You could see yesterday watching the Colts, like they'd stopped playing for Frank Wright. They've stopped playing completely, and they had to do something. Throwing this young lad in, who wasn't expected even to be on a roster when he was a 6th-round pick. Not all 6th-round picks come out. But yeah, I mean, all I just want to talk about was our defense yesterday was absolutely brilliant. I wish Matt Patricia would let Mac throw long, because you saw last year Mac is more excited when he goes for plays over 30, 40 yards. And he has got the arm strength to do it. And he's not been given the chance to do it, probably because the pocket's there. There's something not right in that coaching staff, and I don't like it. Defensive side, unplayable at the moment. We're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
40 yards, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, total passing yards 43, rushing yards 78 for Indianapolis.
Wow,
that's even less Mac than threw together.
That's
insane. As Kelly's shown here, passing off to Stevenson, making negative. That's the first few plays. I've always been one of these ones. I mean, we all play Madden. First play, first down. What do? Go long.
Pass. Yeah.
You go long.
No honesty. I may be the opposite of that, because I just do play action, run round the back.
Yeah, but you're used to a running back as your quarterback, so it's fine.
Play your strengths.
I am going to go back to Raiders very quickly, because John's made a couple of points. Play calling is questionable by the staff. Carr not being great, but other plays making him look worse. The reason he's brought this back in, because I think Carr and Mac are very, very much in that same boat. Play calls aren't playing to their strengths. Their production is so much worse than last year, and I think that is down to play calling. I think Josh McDaniels thinks, Derek Carr's been around for a few years. Maybe he is quite good. But yeah, and he's trying to play it like Mac's playing and playing different strengths. It doesn't work. And he's also gone clearly tanking for picks. New QB in the draft. I think you've got other issues. I don't think the QB is your number one issue. The same as us.
I think line is a massive problem for the Lions. Also for the Raiders. Their offensive line is really poor. I mean, we can talk about the poor play from Derek Carr, but I don't think he's getting enough time, or he's constantly on. Yeah, if you have good quarterbacks, good running backs, and good receivers, and you're still not playing well, 9 times out of 10, it is your offensive line, and I think that's where they'll look.
Oh, that's getting a bit personal, Kelly.
I think you're tanking because you're
Don't
shit.
mince your words, Kel.
No reason.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Has it got real o'clock here on the third and long podcast?
I want to talk about a certain Josh Allen now, and literally decided to play for New York last night.
Wow, what a shocker! What a shocker!
2 picks, both weren't like outstanding defensive back plays. They were literally, here, have the ball. Okay, I saw Zach Wilson do it last week. I thought I'll give it a go, and that's what they were last night. He said in his press conference, we all have bad games, but it doesn't help when your quarterback plays shit. Ain't done himself, and that was his actual words. Oh my God. This is getting brutal on the chat about
the local law enforcement is the main problem for the Raiders. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's not tanking. That's just being shit. So you're probably right. I actually quite like that, Thomas. That's actually really funny.
But
I'm pretty sure there isn't much law enforcement in Vegas. Isn't that why Davis moved the franchise? Because there is no law.
Outlaw country.
Can we now talk about New York and Buffalo, please, Pete? We've got.
Sorry, I apologise.
We've left Raiderland. We're now going to New York. And I hope Danny Rick enjoyed watching his.
Can I start just really quickly? Who on earth, in all honesty, would have put money on the Jets being
12 people in the Facebook prediction league did. And tell you what, Shane's shocked by it. Is that bad? Shocked still.
He's shocked so much that it's frozen in time.
What do you think of Josh Allen's play like yesterday, Phil?
Um, great quarterbacks have bad games.
Yeah.
It was. I think this has been a reality call because the last couple of weeks the Buffalo Bills have been steamrolling opponents. Josh Allen in particular has been steamrolling defensive back and outside linebackers. And him coming out afterwards and just saying, everybody has a bad game, especially when your quarterback plays shit. I mean, that says something about his mindset, but also how he feels in the team because he is the team leader. I mean, he is Mr. Buffalo. He's bought into that. I said a while ago about great players buying into the identity of what the team represents, and he is Mr. Buffalo. He is Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
So him taking responsibility of it, you've got like 52 other players on that team that's going to go, yeah, it's my quarterback. That's my leader. He realized that his decisions cost us the game. Yes, our defense probably didn't help him out as well because we've made Zach Wilson look really good. I'm sorry, I'm still not sold on him. But the Jets still managed to score 20 points on the Bills. Yeah, bad game, but I still think the Bills are going to go to the championship.
The issue is now. Sorry.
throws.
The issue is now Bills haven't won a divisional matchup. Admittedly, they haven't played us yet, so they're going to get 2 divisional matchup wins there. But it is going to come down now. The AFC East is Bills on 6-3. No, 6-2.
6-2.
New York and Miami are both on 6-3, and we're on 5-4.
Yeah.
It is so close, and as Kelly says, there's always a banana skin somewhere. You know.
I mean, you can have this opportunity.
Tom's asking me to do it next week.
I mean, you could genuinely have the chance of, come the end of the season, you can have all 4 teams in that division with winning records, and 2 of them miss out the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3, depending on how other teams get on.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really tight. It's been the division this year. I mean, I thought it would take a while for Robert Saleh to actually ingrain his defensive brain into the Jets. But even though the Jets haven't blown me away, and I still think Wilson is the weak link in that organization, they're winning. They're winning.
Yeah. But he is better. They do look better under him under center than they did Flacco because he can move around and he does open. They do open the playbook. First 3 plays. The dodged kickoff, which went just over the halfway line.
Yeah.
Josh Allen then throwing for about 60 yards where, Sauce Gardner got burnt by Stephon Diggs. And then Josh Allen getting picked. 3 plays on the bounce. I mean, it was a bad throw from Josh Allen, literally straight into, I want to say, who the hell was it for? Was it Sherwood? He wasn't. I think it was Sherwood. I can't remember. It wasn't Sauce. Sauce had the other one. Yeah, I mean, it says something. This franchise is in a very, very good position at the moment, but you need that playmaker. That is Josh Allen, who is incredibly athletic, as we see him do a backflip after his 30-odd yard touchdown run yesterday.
I saw that. Wow.
You need him to be playing at a good level.
Yeah.
To fire that team. If he's not there, that team isn't anywhere near as good. Let me just find this comment by Tom about the Vikings again.
Okay, by the way.
Yeah, go on then, Shane. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, the first pick from of Josh Allen was a free safety Whitehead. It was a great catch, great read. And this is just like I said earlier on. I'm not sure if you missed it because my internet's dropping out all the time. Who, in all honesty, would have put money on the Jets being 6-3 at this stage of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. I had them finishing below us. I had them finishing 4th, and New England finishing 3rd. But yeah, let's go on to Minnesota because Tom put this comment a while ago, and I said I'll bring it in. He wants to come in on the Super Bowl show as you need to find a few Vikes. Are we going to see Minnesota in the Super Bowl? I mean, they were very lucky against Washington yesterday.
No. There's a reason why the Vikings wear purple, because if I was choking for 50 years, I'd be purple as well. I think this purple patch isn't gonna last. I'm really, really sorry, mate. I'm really sorry, Thomas, but I don't think the Vikings are going to win any championship this year.
Because you are the only 7-1 team, Thomas. That is why. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, he is playing incredibly well at the moment. He's probably playing the best. Shane's gone again. He is probably playing the best football of his career
Yeah,
at
he's
the
he's
moment
playing the
this
best
season.
since he's playing the best since RG3 went down and he took over in
Yeah,
Washington for that one season. I mean, he
yeah.
looks motivated. It also helps that all of his weapons are, available for him. Justin Jefferson, Thielen. Who else is there? I apologize,
You've
my
now
my
got
Vikings
TJ.
knowledge
You
has
now
gone.
got TJ Hawkinson as well,
Yeah.
who had. He
Dalvin Cook
still
as well.
had.
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, TJ Hawkinson had 9 receptions yesterday for 9 targets
Yeah.
for 70 yards. Um, Jefferson's catch. I mean, you called that as your catch of the week,
Mhm.
Phil, very early. The
Yeah.
touchdown. That was
As soon as it
brilliant
happened in
play.
the first half, in the first quarter, I was like, yeah, that's my catch of the week. It was good. It was really, really good.
In all honesty, boys, if I wasn't a beloved diehard Ravens fan, I'd probably be a Vikings fan because I'm a huge fan of their offense, of the weapons they have. Jefferson, Thielen,
Mm.
Dalvin Cook. I think at 7-1, they don't get spoken about enough.
So, Thomas said he doesn't think Cousins is the answer, but he is doing the job. Correct, he is
Yeah.
doing the job. He is doing what your quarterback needs, protecting that ball. But he's also got. Oh, too many comments. Slow down, people. Kevin O'Connor's doing his job, which he is. He is coaching that team. He's got a good coaching staff. And congratulations to Kevin O'Connor and his wife for having their 4th baby on Friday. Having a
Congratulations.
baby, flying with the team on Saturday, and having a win on Sunday. Let's talk about that play.
I think this just goes to the ref.
The Washington touchdown. It was, I want to say Samuel, but it could have been. No, it was Curtis Samuel, wasn't it? The ref literally bounced off the Washington defender. And I don't know which defender it was. Shane, you're playing the hokey cokey tonight, mate. Yeah, you get lucky like that. You're gonna have breaks. I mean, I won't talk about a certain red card in a certain game yesterday, and then another player doing exactly the same thing and not getting a red card. But yeah, I don't think your DB was going to pick it, but I think it would have broken up the play. The ref. The ref's not seeing where the player is. The ref's like trying to get out the way of everything. You can see the ball coming in his direction. But it's just an unfortunate error. I mean, we've had one where the ball come off the Skycam wire and they were picked. It happens. It happens, doesn't it? Unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, no harm done. You still won your match, so don't worry about it. I think I do think we could see an Eagles Vikings NFC though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't know how you feel about that.
I don't know. I could see both of them getting to the divisional round.
Well, let's look at it. You've got you boys.
What you think that we are contenders? I've never suggested that before. I apologize if that's what I'm getting at.
The seeds at the moment in the NFC is Eagles at 1, Minnesota at 2, Dallas at 3, New York at 4, Seattle, who are playing incredibly well, at 5, you at 6, Tampa somehow at 7 at 5 and 4 and 5.
That's just how poor that division is.
We could have another losing record team in the playoffs again, and it's probably a team like, it could be Atlanta, it could be Tampa, it could be New Orleans.
Yeah.
That division is really, really bad. Let's go to, where am I going to? As I've already said, Seattle are playing really well. Shall we get on the Gino MVP bandwagon?
Oof,
Yes, we
yes,
can.
please. Yes,
I
please.
taken Derek Carr out of my fantasy team and put Geno Smith in. That's how well he's playing. He is playing some ball, and fair play to him. Nobody thought he was capable of doing it.
No.
I mean, this
Mi-
lad has bounced around as QB2,
Yeah.
given his chance and shown how good he is.
I was watching on that Good Sport, our good friend Brandon. He did a balls deep episode on Geno Smith. Um, and he went full on in. It's about a 12-minute video. It's really, really good. Please check out That's Good Sports. He's absolutely phenomenal. And
Yes.
he talked about how going to the Jets when he was drafted was a blessing, with the expectation that in hindsight he's probably glad that he tanked and didn't do as well as he ended up doing, because him bouncing around as a QB2 across multiple different teams in the preceding years has really helped him in terms of mature, because let's not forget, Rex Ryan still doesn't have a nice thing to say about him. And the last time he was on Sky TV, he mentioned about Gino getting knocked out by one of his teammates. So this is a young, cocky, arrogant quarterback who came out of West Virginia, um, went to the Jets, had a good start, then dropped off dramatically, personal things off the field, bouncing around different teams, finds himself as QB2 on the Seattle roster last year. Did enough so that Pete Carroll knew that fobbing off Wilson would have actually been a benefit to the team more so than a negative. And then giving the Broncos the illusion that Drew Lock was actually going to be the starting quarterback and the Seahawks were going to tank this year. This is so hard for a 49er fan to talk about how great the Seahawks are doing without any moment of irony or sarcasm whatsoever.
We all
Gino's
thought
really
Russell.
good, and it makes me sick that I want him to do well, because I know that means the Seahawks do well.
I want him to do
We
well
all
because
thought,
his
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about Kenneth Walker, Shane, because he is having a season and a half.
Yes, he is incredible rookie season. Great start. I think he had 109 receiving, 109 rushing yards yesterday, 2 touchdowns as well. And back to what we were saying about Geno Smith as well, really quickly. I thought personally myself, when Russell Wilson left, I thought it would be the death of this team. I thought that was it. They're going to throw their biggest star away, and that's it. But no, not just Geno Smith, but the rest of the roster are playing up. They're 6-3. I would never have said that at the beginning of the season, even with the likes of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Sorry, they are playing really well. And as I said, with the advancement of Walker in his season, balling out, this team are going to be hard to play for against anybody.
I mean, Kyler Murray didn't play too badly yesterday. He didn't throw a pick, so he obviously did some studying that week. He obviously didn't play Call of Duty this week. He still runs around like a headless chicken there, that bloke.
Yeah.
He is. I don't have a good word about Kyler Murray. I really don't think he's a good quarterback one little bit at all. But yeah, there's something not right about the Cardinals. Everyone expected this Cardinals offense, this Cardinals team to be a Super Bowl chant team after that. After they broke that playoff hoodoo last year. But they're not. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins looks better, looks good now since he's come back. But yeah, they don't.
He scored again. Yeah. Zach Ertz scored the other touchdown as well, and the fact that they were very much a people's dark horse team to do well this year. But 3-6, it's not looking good.
No.
Wilson leaving has been the death of the Broncos. Yes, it has, John.
You're not wrong here, John.
Let's go to Tampa.
Yes.
I don't know what to say about this game. I really don't, because this was another really poor game.
Yeah. Before we talk about Tom Brady, I just want to mention a different player that you might not have heard of before, but he's only because he's come on my radar this season. Vita Vea. I think I said his name right.
Yes. Samoan. I had him in my top 5 of non-American players in the NFL.
Yeah. He is, if you haven't already, he was drafted in the first round a couple of years ago. I can't remember yeah, round one, pick 12. He's a nose tackle, Samoan heritage. He was an abs. I mean, he's huge, but he
He
moves like. And Shane, you might
moves
know
like a
this as well.
tight end.
Samoans have this amazing ability to be huge and built like
I
Shed
know where you go.
tractors,
I know
but
where
yet
you
they
go.
but they move around like Mexican lucha libres, and you've got Vita Vea, just like part of the bloodline in WWE, and he's absolutely. I mean, he's huge. He's 6'4". He's 347 pounds, and he just bounces around like a like a basketball. He's all over
You've
the
only got
place, and
what you
his
need.
game yesterday, he. I mean, he. Let me just. Sorry, I've got his stats up here. 2 sacks, 3 solo tackles, 3 quarterback hits. I mean, he just ran through that LA Rams, which is already like Swiss cheese, offensive line, and he just dominated. He just dominated. And I was just like, wow. But I mean, to the point where I think next time I fire up Madden, I'm going to trade him to the 49ers defense because I think that might help our Madden
Let's
chances.
not forget, he has played fullback as well.
Mm.
For
Oh,
that team, he has played fullback.
He screams
Imagine
very
that
much a
bloke running
modern
at you.
he screams a very modern William Perry vibes. I wonder if he can throw the ball.
Yeah.
That'll be the next thing.
Tom Brady was the first ever player to go over 100,000 passing yards.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, it's not just that for that particular game. That was his 43rd fourth quarter comeback, and that ties with Peyton Manning for the most of all time.
Yeah.
It was his 55th game-winning drive, which is now the most in NFL history because he's now surpassed Manning, who had 54, and he is the first NFL player in history with 1,000 K passing yards, which for our English listeners, he has, because I worked out earlier, that he has thrown 91,546 meters.
And Phil, as much as you don't want to hear this, I'm going to say it to you and everybody else that's watching because it is 100% true. He is the greatest quarterback that we have ever seen touch a ball ever.
I mean, I too would be the greatest quarterback of all time if I grew up a 49ers fan
No,
and watched
sorry.
Montana and Young, because Tom Brady is a huge 49er fan and he grew up watching Montana and Young. So I state my case that without Montana and Young, we would not have Tom Brady right now. Thank you. San Francisco rule the world. That's Mr. Pounds done. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. And we'll see you.
We've got one more game to talk about, yeah, man.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that is
so-
quite a nice segue because a certain Patrick Mahomes was compared to a certain Steve Young last night. In one of his
Well, there's
like
worse things to be
mad, I'm
compared
gonna
to.
run around. I'm gonna run around until I can get the first down. You know, it's 73rd and 17. He's still gonna run around 58 million times to get the first down. He was compared to a young Steve Young.
Yeah, I saw that comment as well. Wasn't Steve Young on the panel as well? I think 'cause he
I
sometimes
don't
does
know
Sunday night
about the
games.
panel, but yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is also now leading rushing touchdown in Tennessee franchise history.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and Malik Willis threw for 16 times for 580 yards.
Oh my god, his quarterback rating was 49.0. Wow.
Oh my
That was
word.
below Rogers, who was 53.
Yes.
Sorry, boys.
Here you go, Phil.
One stat has jumped out at me as well. Right, the Chiefs' total offense were a shade 1 yard under 500 yards. Oh my God.
Sorry, I was
John-
laughing
John-
too much. Shane. Can you repeat that, please, mate?
Certainly,
Can
no
you repeat
worries.
what you just said?
A certain stat just jumped out at me from the Chiefs' perspective. They were 1 single yard under 500 yards of total offense. That is incredible. And especially against this rejuvenated Titans team as well.
I'll let you know, please, John, that I have a full-on subscription to America's Game, and I have watched all the 49ers American games, and I've also read Steve Young's autobiography, and also, if we're going to talk about Steve Young and John Montana, we can talk about Jeff Garcia as well, the true number 5 of the 49er franchise. And, it was only till, the mid-2000s when we fired Mariucci that the 49ers stopped being relevant for the next 10 years.
Derek Henry is a freak of nature.
Oh God,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is their offense. Like the
He
King
is
Henry
their
is Tennessee's offense. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've got anyone else on receiving. It doesn't matter who you have in the running game. When Derek, especially this year, if Derek Henry is not feeling it, Tennessee shut down.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly that.
Nullify
I mean,
team.
Yeah.
I'm not gloating as well, but I said Malik Willis wasn't a good quarterback, and he's starting to show that. I mean, Ollie put on our group chat that he's looking quite good in the first half.
Yeah, he did mention that he's playing all right, and I went, his stats say otherwise. Like,
He was -8 in the second half. -8 yards.
yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, he also got
That's not
three
good.
times. He got sacked 3 times off of multiple
Yeah.
pressures.
That's
And
funny
he
though.
is meant to be a very much scrambling quarterback, one of these modern day quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they
Not
still
in that,
lost to one of
not with
the
that
best.
offensive line, you're not.
They still lost to one of the
Um,
best teams all by 3 points. That's it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they only lost by a field goal.
In
Like, you know,
overtime.
it's
In overtime, as Kelly
Yeah.
said.
Exactly.
I am going to slightly disagree with my better half then, so I do apologise. I think the Chiefs are very good. I generally do think the Chiefs are. I think they're being downplayed because they've lost Tyreek Hill, because they've got this. When they click, they are going to be incredibly dangerous.
yeah.
You know, we've seen them bulldoze teams this year. And they go into another gear when they're in the playoffs as well. And as John said,
yeah.
they're scrapping wins like the Vikings. I'd rather play Buffalo in the playoffs than Kansas in the playoffs.
Well, either way, you're going to lose. So, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want to go to you?
Any team would rather play, Kansas than Buffalo personally. Or Buffalo than Kansas, sorry. You're not playing tonight, Shane.
Yes, indeed. But yes, we are in the Superdome or the Silverdome, brother, to play the Saints. You see, feel like what I done there.
Sorry,
We are without.
I just love I love wrestling in jokes. I love them even more when no one else gets them.
Yeah. So, and we are without Lamar's favorite weapon, Mr. Andrews.
What, Lamar? Oh,
I have.
Mr. Andrews is unfit and he's not playing tonight. So, I imagine we'll likely have a good game. You know, touch wood and all that. But then. I've got 3 teams in sports. Everyone knows I'm a United fan. Everyone knows that. I'm a Calgary Flames hockey fan who also played tonight. And obviously, I'm a Ravens fan. The Flames lost on Saturday. United lost yesterday. Bet the house on the Ravens losing tonight. As much as I hate to say it, bet the house on the Ravens losing tonight.
Kelly disagrees with you, mate.
Like I said, I think it's a good job I know. Stay up and watch it, but I'm not expecting a lot. I think the Saints will beat us.
I will say, stop your running back. You're number 8. I think New Orleans will be okay. You've just got to stop your number 8 running back, and you'll be. I mean, New Orleans fine. Andy Dalton's been playing fairly well these last couple of games. In fact, since London, he's played well. I think Mark Andrews is a massive, massive loss for you.
Oh yeah, huge.
It is going to be tight, and I think it's going to be down to who has the ball last. And I'm not going to say any more than that because it is literally a coin toss. I've got it right, woohoo! And it is literally who will have the ball last. I think will win this game, and I think it could be a really good game.
Hopefully, I'm wrong. Like I said, we've got Bateman's out as well, and so is. Like I said, so has Andrews. We're going to rely a lot on Duvernay and rely a lot on Kenny and Drake as well.
I hope
but Roquan Smith's making his debut tonight.
Roquan.
So that's good.
A week. How much of the playbook will he know? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I need Duvernay to score me about 78 million points.
I'd like that as well. Yeah, me too. I'd like that as well.
200 yards and 4 touchdowns to do it. That would make me win my fantasy. And I also need Justin Tucker to kick 7 million field goals as well.
I'm the same as you, but I'm the same as you. I got it as well.
What's your outcome, Mr. Perrins?
I think the Saints. I fancy the Saints in the Superdome. It's very rare that I fancy a teams in a particular stadiums. I just think when the Saints play at home, they raise their games more often than I think maybe some other teams do. I just fancy the Saints tonight.
Cool.
Yeah,
And that's not
I
me
think
trying to
so.
get under Shane's skin. I generally think the Saints could win tonight.
I'm completely on board with you, but if I had my way and if we were going to lose to the Saints, it'd be nice if Mark Ingram scored the winning touchdown, but he's not playing tonight either. So,
Is there anyone actually playing tonight? You've gone.
It's-
He's not
well,
playing. He's
it's-
not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing.
you know what it's like. Well, look, there's no famous Jameis either.
No.
I think Chris Olave will probably have a day. To be fair, but
Yeah, seriously, I mean,
yeah, I'm not. Nah, I don't think we'll get the Duke tonight.
So we're looking at a boring 0-0 dub then, yeah, or no 0-0 tie.
Oh, it won't be boring. I just don't think we're going to win.
When was the last time that stat was again? When was the last time there was a 0-0?
Oh, 1940. Oh, I had it last week. 1943. I think it's pre-war. Was the last
Yeah,
NFL
mad,
0-0.
Mad, absolutely mad. Ollie, we will look forward to having you back on the show. We do hope you make a incredibly speedy recovery from COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Mr. Perrins. That's been Mr. Harris.
And just before we finish, I just want to mention this, boys and girls. On 1994, in round 1 of the NFL draft, pick number 6 was announced, and it was announced as this quarterback from Santa Cruz in California. And this quarterback, this is almost like a metaphor for students that I might teach that might be listening. He was praised. He was really, really praised coming out, and he was picked so high, and he had the intention of doing really, really well. But he then went on to have an absolute nothing career where he threw 113 touchdowns, which sounds quite impressive, but actually threw 129 interceptions. And he had such a nothing career that no one really talks about him anymore. So if you're listening at home, please remember that even in life, you can sometimes fall upwards and still get talked about on a NFL British podcast on a Monday night.
I really wondered where you were going then.
I was thinking, what's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Mr. Perrins. That's been Mr. Harris. I've been Mr. Butler Henderson. Thank you very much for listening, for contributing. Stay safe all, and we will see you on Thursday at 8:30.
Yeah.
Big trust. Come on, boys.